Hey y'all, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are tackling the yard work. I'm also going to be scrubbing down the back porch today because the flies have been unreal. So that's what I'm going to work on. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get into it. Alright, so in one of my vlogs, I think it was like 2 vlogs ago, I mentioned that in one of my cleaning videos coming up that I would share a little story time. So I thought we'll do that today. I thought it would be fun just to kind of mix it up a bit while I'm mowing the yard. So, okay, well, we're going to go back in time. We're going to go back to whenever I worked at Walgreens. I want to share the quick change story with you guys because this is crazy and this happens, and y'all got to be careful, especially all you cashiers out there, because it's really easy to get got if you don't pay attention. And that's exactly what happened to me. So basically, I got quick changed out of $100. Now, $100 in today's money is like maybe the $20 bill, but back in the day, $100 was a lot of money, and that was like, you're gonna get fired today, like money. It was horrible. And to top it off, I had a baby at home and I needed the money. It wasn't like I was just doing the job just for, and giggles. I needed the money. So it was really, really, oh my gosh, I was so freaking stressed. And I am a people pleaser too, on top of all of it. I felt so defeated. So let me tell you what happened. So basically, I was the front cashier at this time. My daughter was a baby. I went back to work. By the way, if you don't know what quick changed is, it's basically where someone gives you money and you take it and then they're like, "Oh no, hold on. Let me change that for this." And then you hand them back the money and they're like, "Oh, never mind, just keep it. We'll just use that instead." And it's it's basically where they mentally trick you into thinking you still had the money in your hand, that you didn't give it back. Now, most of the time, I would have caught on to this, but granted, it was late, I was tired, I already had a baby at home, had been up all day, then going to work, and this is where being tired, already having a hard day, you can really get screwed over. So pay attention. Listen, do not get quick changed, because first of all, it's embarrassing as crap when you watch the video back and you see yourself hand someone back the money that they just gave you and they're like, "Oh no, just keep it." And in your brain, you thought you kept that money underneath the drawer. Like, what the heck? I don't even know. It was so embarrassing. I can't even believe I'm telling this story. But this guy was slick. So let me go back a little bit. That day, that night, I remember him walking in, buying a couple things, like shopping. He was nice. He said a couple of things to me like, "Oh, how's your night going?" Just very friendly. And we lived in Valdosta at the time, and Valdosta is a very friendly town. I feel like you can really catch on to someone's vibe pretty quick there. And yeah, I didn't get a weird vibe from him at all. He felt really like friendly, just a normal hometown guy. And yeah, sometimes they are the sneakiest because he really had me fooled. And I can't even remember what he bought, but I just remember him handing me the $100 bill, and then I typed it into my register. As soon as you type it in, boom, the drawer pops out. I lifted the drawer, put the $100 bill under the drawer, and then he said, "Oh, you know what, let me just use a 20 instead." So I lift the drawer up, grab the 100 and hand it back to him and take his 20, okay? At this point, he's still communicating with me. We're having small talk, and then he goes, "Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's been like a long day. Just keep the 100 instead. I'll just use that. I'd rather just get more change." So I hand him back his 20, okay? On top of the fact that I had already handed him back his $100 bill. At this point, my brain thought the 100 was underneath the drawer for some reason. It was quick. I'm talking within seconds this all happened. So then I continued to hand him money out of the drawer for the change for the $100 bill that I originally typed in, although I didn't have that $100 bill in my drawer anymore. So now I just gave this man like 90 some dollars, okay? Once I handed him the bag and he went to go leave, I knew I messed up. Like, it just hit me. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I did not put that $100 in my drawer. Did I hand him back that money?" Like, all this was playing in my mind. At that point, my heart starts pounding. You know how you start to feel kind of like an outer body experience? And I know this might sound dramatic, but look, I was already on thin ice with my job. I knew that this was just like it. And we had just like a week prior had a meeting about this. I was like, no way did this just happen to me. I just was having a really rough week, and I opened the drawer and I'm like, he did. Like, I look under the drawer and there's no $100 bill. I'm like, no way. And then I'm like, I just handed him money out of my drawer. So now my drawer is short like $95, $96 or something like that. Like, it was bad. I wanted to cry. And I think the worst part was like being humiliated in front of everybody. So I'll tell you about that in just a second. But before we do that, I do have a quick sponsored ad to share with you, and then we'll jump right back into the story. Today's video is sponsored by Eureka. Y'all know I love the Eureka brand vacuums. They are my all-time favorite. I've worked with Eureka many times here on my channel, and I'm super grateful they sent me the Eureka E10 to review for you guys. So this is a bagless, self-emptying robot vacuum and mop combo. The setup is very easy. It's very self-explanatory, but it also comes with very easy to read instructions, and you can even download the Eureka app. And not only can you have control over cleaning modes, but also you have control over cleaning schedules, no-go zones, even voice control. Just a simple click of a button will tell it to start cleaning or to go right back to charge. My absolute favorite feature that this Eureka E10 has is the self-emptying station. It keeps dust and debris at bay for up to 45 days. It's easy to empty with just one click, and it has a unique and compact design. It also has the ability to recognize and map up to 4 separate floors, which I think is great. And in the app, you can actually choose which areas for the vacuum to stay in and which ones to avoid. Now, the E10 does mop and vacuum at the same time, but not to worry about your carpets getting wet. It keeps the floors clean but carpets dry. The E10 can detect carpet and rugs and actually lift the mop to prevent them from getting wet, which is really nice. And although we don't have carpet in our house, I think that's a great feature just to mention for those who have carpet. It also has obstacle avoidance, so you don't have to worry if there are things laying around. It will work right around all of it and keep those floors nice and clean. The suction power is also extremely impressive. You'll see it picks up a pile of crumbs here like it's nothing. And it's also mopping at the same time. I cannot get over that. Our floors are looking so good, and between having 4 dogs, 2 kids, 2 adults in here, you can only imagine how dirty our floors get. But look at this view. Everything is nice and clean. There's not a spot in sight. I am super impressed with this Eureka E10. Get yours today. I will have the links down below in the description box so you can check them out. And y'all know Prime Day is here, so you can use the links down below in my description box. Use code Lynn, get those early Prime Day deals. And once again, thank you to Eureka for sponsoring today's video. Shout out to Eureka for helping keeping my house clean while I'm busy out here doing yard work, because seriously, between the yard work, the house, the kids, the dogs, all of it, I just can't keep up. So thank goodness for this vacuum. It's been helping tremendously. But back to the story. So I think the worst part about the entire situation was getting humiliated in front of everybody. I was made an example of. I was the example of what not to do. So everyone watched the video. I felt like everybody was talking about it. It was so embarrassing, and I don't like that. I don't like being center of attention. I don't like especially negative attention. Oh my gosh, like, just, you might as well just shun me. I would rather just get fired. But I did not get fired. I remember it being like a big deal. And to be honest, I don't even know what happened to $100. They didn't ask me for it. I offered though. Although I was broke, there was no way I was going to be able to pay it. Like, I would have been like, can I come work on it for free? I can't. But I never got fired. It was just one of those things where it was like a meeting and I had to like explain in detail what happened and, you know, all the things. But thankfully, I never got fired. So that was good. I truly appreciate all the managers who stood behind me and were like, don't fire her. She's a good employee. Thank you guys so much. Because I really did work hard. I truly gave it my all every time I went into work. I didn't stand around. I was an overachiever. I always did my job and then some and tried to help anybody out. So I think that definitely worked in my favor for sure. But yeah, so that was the story about getting quick changed. Also, I just wanted to share this because this actually just popped up on my feed the other day on Instagram. A woman was like, making fun of the younger generation for not being able to count money, and how she went up to the register, handed this girl, or guy or girl, I don't know, $20, and then wanted to give her change as well at the last minute. And the cashier was like, no, I'm sorry, I already typed it into the register. Like, if you only knew the pressure behind being a cashier, sometimes at certain places, not all places are like that, but some places they don't play, and you're not allowed to change the amount of money that someone gives you because of this reason, being quick change. Like, it happens so quick, and you can easily make a calculating mistake when you're under pressure. And while some people might not feel under pressure when they're a cashier, there's others that do, and huge mistakes can be made. So I just thought it was really, if she could see from a different perspective the reason why cashiers deny extra money being handed to them at the last minute or change, that's why. Because y'all, we're under pressure over here, okay? We're like trying not to mess up and lose our jobs. And like some people, they're like, all people actually nowadays, your job is your livelihood. You can't afford to make a mistake, especially when it comes to money, because y'all know money is the root of all evil, and someone will literally fire you over something dumb like $5. Like, I'm not even kidding. So just keep that in mind. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I was 2 seconds away from hopping in this pool myself. I was literally drenched in sweat. But now I'm gonna go ahead and get started on weed eating. Now, this weed eater, why am I stuttering? I was doing fine this whole time talking, and now all of a sudden I can't get my words right. This weed eater, I'm going to fix the string because, so these weed eaters, they come with like pre-spun strings, like you can just pop them in, but sometimes they are like faulty, and this one was one of those. I couldn't get the string to come out right, so I just rigged it. I ended up tying the string just long enough and just making it work. All right, now that the yard is done, I am going to scrub the patio down. Now, I was convinced that the reason why we had flies so bad was because we have spilled drinks and food and all the things all over the patio, and the dogs running around getting wet and dirty, and I just felt like if the concrete was clean, maybe the flies wouldn't be so bad. Well, that was not the case. The flies are back. And they stayed away while I was cleaning. I was like, ooh, it's working. It didn't work. And turns out everywhere here in Florida right now, or just in the South in general, is full of flies. Like, it's not just us. And that's, I'm happy to hear that. And I actually had a couple of you say, like, how often do you poop or scoop the yard? Because you have a lot of dogs. And we try at least every other day. But that's not the reason why we have flies. The flies are bad just because they're bad. And there's my husband, where he goes to work, he said there was houses there that were full of flies too. And they didn't have no animals, no food, no nothing. And while I realize that flies are beneficial to some extent, I don't want them at my house. They just feel so disgusting. I feel like when I'm eating and a fly lands on my food, it's immediately, it's garbage. Like, I don't know. That's just how I feel. But according to Google, flies are very underappreciated. They can definitely cause harm to your food, by the way. They can cause, it says basically they spread diseases and you can get food poisoning and stuff like that from them. However, reasons why flies are awesome is because they pollinate plants, they break down organic material, and they serve as food for other bugs and animals. So technically we need flies, but I don't want them, to be honest. I don't want mosquitoes either, but let me look it up because someone told me what mosquitoes were good for and I can't remember what they said. Mosquitoes. How do you spell that? Mosquito. What are mosquitoes good for? Oh, wow. It says mosquitoes play a vital role in ecosystems and serve many purposes, including food source. So they are food to many animals, including fish, birds, reptiles, bats, and other animals. Mosquito larvae eat, what does it say? Pollinator? Wow. But they also carry diseases. Like, everything good for you is bad for you too.
Aren't you tired of the drama? You use your words like they are knives. I don't need that type of drama, and trying to be tough all the daytime. You try to make yourself feel better by taking me down. Once I fell, but now I'm strong, I'm ready for the rematch. Shoot me down, don't you know I get up? Yeah, baby, I will fight. No, there ain't nothing stopping me. I'm bulletproof, I won't fall. I'm bulletproof, go on and shoot me down. I will always get up again. You're looking at me so cold. Get over yourself, are you for real? Why are you looking at me so cold? One's love is now we're enemies. You try to make yourself feel better by taking me down. Once I fell, but now I'm strong, I'm ready for the rematch.
So at this point, my headphones start acting up, right? Or at least I think they are. I start hearing that like my phone's calling somebody, and then I hear hello, and then it hangs up and the music starts playing. Well, then it happens again and again. It happened like 5 times. And I finally realized that for some reason, my daughter's phone was connecting to my Bluetooth, and just whenever she would try to make a call. And turns out they were prank calling family. They were calling people, and then they were like, they would answer, they wouldn't say anything, they would hang up. Well, it was my brother-in-law answered the phone, and I could hear him saying, hello, hello, and then I just hear a little bit of giggling and hang up. So I finally caught on they were prank calling people. They actually called my brother too. It was freaking hilarious. He said, yeah, they called me like twice, and I said hello, and then they finally were like, oh, we're just prank calling you. Kids are so funny. I remember doing that when I was little though, but we didn't do it like that. We didn't have a call log. We literally had to like flip through the phone book, you know, the big yellow phone books, and just like flip through it. And then wherever your finger landed, that's who was getting prank called, like random strangers. And we'd be like, is your fridge running? And they would say, yeah, well, you better go catch it. That was like it. That was the joke back in the day. Good times. And Ding Dong Ditch. Like that was, I did that a lot. Like, I'm so thankful that we are okay. But we, like, when I was a kid, man, we were up to no good. It's not funny. But, like, I just lived in a different time. I lived in a time where, like, we could sneak out at night. There was no cameras to catch you from sneaking out. There was no Ring doorbell that caught motion. You know what I mean? Like, we would sneak out and be out all night long. Parents didn't know where we were. Hell, sometimes our parents weren't even home. Actually, most of the time they weren't home. And we would just be out knocking on people's door in the middle of the night, making people mad. Like, why did we do stuff like that? Like, I think back now as an adult, I'm like, what? I'd be so embarrassed, first of all, as a parent, if my kids did that. I mean, a simple, like, funny prank call, like, on a phone, like, being cute and funny is fine. Like, you learn your lesson. You have to live. You have to live. You have to learn these things as kids. But knocking on people's doors in the middle of the night and running, why is that a thing? Who came up with that? It's extremely dangerous. You know, if you really think about it, you could accidentally knock on the wrong person's door. But when you're kids, you don't think like that. This is why, like, kids do not make decisions, clearly, because you don't think logically. You just think about you're in the moment having a good time. Like the time that I decided to take a canoe all the way across the lake and we almost didn't make it. I thought we were going to die out there. Like, No life vest, nothing. Just out there in a canoe in the middle of a storm trying to get to McDonald's. Like, who does that? Who does that? Like, whew. Man, you got to keep an eye on these kids, y'all, because if I was doing those things, like, can you imagine what kids are doing nowadays? Like, with the social media at their fingertips, like, it worries me. It seriously stresses me out as my kids get older. I don't want to keep them in a bubble because they obviously have to learn and live their life. But at the same time, like, do they make bubbles big enough? Anyway, I'm going to finish mowing the front yard. Now, I don't film my entire front yard for obvious reasons, but I am going to show you guys the little side yard here. And then as soon as I'm done with this, we're actually going to work on the mailbox, and because I had to rebuild it. It looks crazy right now. It's a little wonky, but what can you do? It got knocked over.
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes.
All right, so here's how the backyard looks now that it's all mowed and clean. It feels so good. But to be honest, this doesn't look like that right now. It's a complete disaster again. And guess what? The yard needs to be mowed and weed eated. So hopefully today, later on this afternoon, I'll get out there and help my husband finish up the yard work. He started to mow the other day, but it started pouring. But maybe we'll film that and share a whole nother, get it all done in the yard. But before I let you guys go, we're going to fix this mailbox. So on 4th of July, when we got home that night, we got home at like 2 o'clock in the morning. It was late. But when we pulled in, I immediately noticed that my mailbox was on the ground. And my initial reaction was that the drifter that lives the street over came around the corner too fast and knocked it down and like fishtailed. That was what I thought because it was like a little rainy. But after further inspection, I realized that the way that it was knocked down, the way that it was leaning, it was most definitely the neighbors across the street. And someone who was staying at their house was actually driving a U-Haul. And I realized that it had to have been the U-Haul because in order to back it all the way out, I've seen them get pretty close to the mailbox already once. And I was like, oh boy, it's going to come down. Sure enough, it was the U-Haul. And the lady was super kind. She did leave a note behind at my door. At first, I was super upset. I was like, who knocks someone's mailbox down and doesn't like leave a note on the mailbox or something? But I realized she put it by the front door. She even came back by the next day and apologized again. I feel like I'm repeating myself. Did I share this already? I think I shared it on Instagram. Did I share this here? Oh my gosh. If y'all are already seeing this, I'm sorry, but I feel like I'm like having deja vu. Anyway, she did apologize. She left a really nice note. She even came over as I was building it and apologized again. It is what it is. Crap happens. But she was really sweet. And yeah, I'm just going to rebuild it. It's not going to be perfect. It's obviously a little wonky and some of the wood is broken and split. But for now, it'll do the job.
So where does it come from? A scene that keeps playing on repeat, ignores the rule of thumb. Oh, where does it come from? Oh, where does it come from? All your emotions with your heart on your sleeve, it won't fade until you paint it black.
Alright y'all, that's pretty much it for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching today. If you enjoyed the story time, instead of me like explaining what I'm cleaning, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know as well. I totally get it. I'd love to hear like both sides. Give it a thumbs up or give it a thumbs down, I guess. I don't want you to, but if you feel the need, feel free. Also, subscribe if you're new here. I definitely appreciate you watching and being here. So thank you so much for that. And don't forget to check out Eureka. I will have the Eureka E10S down below in my description box, and you can use code Lynn to get those early Prime deals. Thank you once again to Eureka for sponsoring today's video, and I will see all of you guys in my next one. Bye, y'all.
Where does it come from?